And we're getting ready for Kamal.
Hello.
Now that's a good laptop. And if it works, then we should have, there it is. That's
Yeah.
the intro
If
is
doesn't
what
work,
you
I
have.
will use that.
Okay,
Same as that. Yeah.
that should be fine. And
Yeah.
now let's just test your clicker.
Okay.
What's the brand of this?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, that's working.
Yeah, it's working.
Well, you're good to go?
Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, it's working. No.
Ladies and gentlemen, 3, 2, 1. This is working. Yes, no, yes, perfect. Köszönöm. So, ladies and gentlemen, analysts, consultants, nerds, I would just like to point out that a good portion of the rooms have not been checked out of yet. And the cutoff time is 11 if memory serves. So please go and check out your rooms ASAP. Thank you. I mean, if you guys want to pay for another night, I mean, it's on you. It is now time to welcome Kamal. Kamal is now a second timer or third timer?
Yeah, second.
Second timer for Superweek. And he is one of the, you're the premier partner for Azerbaijan, right? And he is going to talk to us about entering the big market and what we have in store for Google Ads.
Okay.
Take it away.
Okay. So, hello everyone, it's my second time here and a little bit stressful, but we'll try to handle the 20 times and my 20 minutes and my slides. So I will talk about the analytics roadmap for digital ads, mostly based on my experience in different countries. That is the coverage. Actually, I managed a lot of startup, e-commerce, space agency, and etc. Some companies I worked with, and we targeted a lot of countries that I have a lot of experience with that. So I managed actually 500,000 in October. That is a huge amount for my country. That's why I will try to explain some of my experience and what I learned by entering the competitive market. So the only thing is advertising platforms is looking for is your data. So they need actually conversion data, more conversions to optimize your campaigns. But if you don't have enough conversions, what you do? Actually, we try to get all data points and first-party data, enhance conversions, get the offline conversion import, and if the user rejects the consent, so Google use the modeled conversion, etc. We also can use some third-party data as mentioned here for model conversions. But if we don't have macro conversions, like a main conversions, we actually can send the micro conversions, actually the add to cart, checkout. I prefer this one when we don't have enough conversion in the last 30 days. Not the modeled conversion from the third party, because it is more reliable and you have your own analytics data. So you can find what are the probability of checked out users or the people who added to cart, their probability to buy your products. There are also some factors that affected the conversion probability, which is the spend time on your website and also the pages that actually people engaged in your website. So the enhanced conversion for web actually easy because everyone has the signed-in account in the Chrome. So they actually go to your website and fill the form in your website, and you capture the email ID, PII, and hash this data. It is irreversible one-time hash, which means that you actually don't send the actual data to the Google. Most advertisers and companies doesn't know that. That's why they don't trust Google sending their PII. Actually, it is irreversible hash. So Google actually matched this data in its system, so we actually get the benefits of enhanced conversion when the tag is not, I mean, when some devices it's not possible to get the conversion data. And also, this is how it works. Google hashes, it is a reversible one-time. I asked to my developer and he said that, yeah, it's trustworthy because we actually cannot decrypt this data. Even Google cannot decrypt this data. So another way is importing your offline conversions, which needs a tweaks in your CRM. You have to get the Google Click ID from the URL parameter. You have to store it on your CRM system. When marketing leads, actually not always the closed leads, you call the customer and you realize the purchase, it becomes a closed lead, and you actually upload the closed leads from your CRM to the Google Ads by hashing the data with the same method. It actually matches the closed leads user. You actually import your offline conversions, and it is additional point, and it's the first party data, it's more reliable. It gives also additional data to the system about your closed leads, not always marketing leads. It's important for B2B and also some e-commerce businesses in which the actual purchase not happen in their website. People, there is some process, and we have to import the offline conversions. That is how it works. Actually, we can upload with a scheduled upload, manual, and can use API. There are also some third-party integrations, also CRM integrations. There are built-in Salesforce integration with Google Ads, so we can import the closed leads directly to the Google Ads. So Google Click ID is the important factor here. Sometimes we don't see, some browsers doesn't allow Google Click ID. In that case, we actually miss the data. This is a mix of offline conversion import and also enhanced conversion for web. This actually removes the need for the tweak in your CRM system. This gets get the data from the field, like hashed email address from the web, and also you just upload your customer information from your CRM, like email. It matched the data as previously done with hashing data, and it matched the data and now have the information about converted leads from your CRM. And in this implementation process, you actually don't need to store Google Click ID on your CRM system. That's why it is easier to implement and easier for some lead generation B2B businesses, which doesn't need any development work in the backend. So here, the SHA 256, this is the hashing, one-time hashing, irreversible hashing method, which is irreversible, and you can trust it. But there are not so many tutorials in the web to how to apply this thing, but there are some tools and third-party integrations that can help you to do this. So this is the actually roadmap given by Google to implement and how to grow. And you have to set the things that I mentioned here, the data points. You have to capture all the user data, and you can later use performance max campaign, broad match, smart bidding strategy, etc. The second part is a little bit controversial. It is not applicable for all businesses because sometimes when we begin to use automation without having any data, it sometimes causes damage to the client, and they are actually not seeing a lot of insights about their advertising expenses, advertising investment. That's why it somehow created trouble for us. So I will talk about my experience and how I did that. So a little bit integration about also the shopping campaigns. There are also the ways to, investing money for high margin products rather than low margin products. There are also some integrations here from the GitHub, and Google actually gives us some opportunities to visualize and see how opportunities are going on the shopping campaigns and which products we can invest more for higher profit margin. You can grab the link from here, actually from the slide link. So also there are some new innovations from Google, like for new customers, getting new customers. This was available for Performance Max campaign when it released. Now it is available for more campaigns, and it will be available, in my opinion, for all campaigns. Google actually finds the new users based on the data you provided, customer list, and auto detection by global site tagging, etc. It finds the users that didn't your customer in before. So some successors of my, these are my friends. We actually use the SEO and application campaigns by using the first-party data. We actually use Firebase and segmented users, then targeted based on cost per action inside the application. So this created a lot of brand awareness, and we targeted exactly our most popular segment in the market. So later on, there was an organic growth, and they reached but exactly more than 200,000 users. And Google Play contacted them, and they promoted their case. Actually, it is a good success point for them. Another success is increasing your getting the same conversions while decreasing your CPA or while decreasing your cost. That is also useful case study because the business couldn't invest in October or November the same money they invested in September. They said to me that, yeah, we want to decrease our budget, but we don't want to lose our customers. So when we have enough data in our account, so we can only invest the most profitable segments and fix the conversion in the same level, so we can decrease the CPA. There is a point with growing, because growth is always sometimes related to loyalty. Some businesses think that they increase their market share and market penetration by implementing the advanced CRM. But it is not possible according to some studies. There is a double jeopardy law between market penetration and market share, and between loyalty. Once you have a strong brand image and you have a good market fit and market penetration, you get a market share from the industry, and you actually grow your loyalty because you have a user retention and you have a great brand awareness in the market, and it increases also the brand loyalty of your brand. So a wave effect, that is called, I actually called it wave effect. I actually use this strategy when entering the very competitive markets. Why I use this strategy? Because company has a lot of stuff, there are a lot of expenses, so you have to enter directly and immediately to the market in order to cover your expenses and get profit. And also, competitors can react to your strategy and copy some of your differentiative factors from your brand. So in the first place, you actually set up all these data points I mentioned here, and then you have to segment your campaigns to different parameters. It is not recommended to consolidate when you begin your campaigns. I actually don't recommend that, because you miss the insights. You cannot then analyze and make a decision data-drivenly if you begin with consolidated campaigns, like targeting all the US and all the whole country. We actually targeted each state differently, individually, and also some states outside the, like countries outside the US. So in this section, it is about 1 week or 10 days. We targeted all parameters differently, and then we find the most profitable segments and also scaled and invest more money to that segment. For example, if we found that the Gulf region is more profitable for us and their CPA is very lower, so we cut the budget from US and invest there. So we eliminate some of the targets and we decrease cost, but we manage to increase the conversions. Okay? At the end, this phenomenon occurs. So when we decrease our cost and scale to the new profitable segments, our conversion increases without spending so much amount that we did in the beginning. But most businesses failed in that point. Why? Because they don't have any additional value proposition or a good branding strategy. That I actually experienced in my experience. This is also one of the e-commerce business who entered the very competitive market in my local. So I actually worked with 5 competitor e-commerce at the same time in the top 10. That I had a lot of data. I had a lot of experience from the market. I implemented the same for the new buy e-commerce business, Actually, they experienced the growth when the early period, but then they failed because they wasn't ready to that capacity. But they hired a lot of workers, etc., but they didn't build CRM integrations. I will just give some business problems here. Also, the war in Ukraine affected this company a lot because our developers were in Ukraine, and at least we missed 3 shopping seasons. Black Friday, New Year, and March. There's a big 2-3 shopping season, and this company lost a lot. But here, I just mentioned the problems with the business. Lack of measurement plan. They didn't have a lack of measurement plan, not only for digital analytics, but digital marketing activities, but also the call center, customer support, CRM, email marketing, etc. I showed 2 different examples. In the first example, there was a lack of CRM. The startup actually didn't have CRM system, so it actually couldn't calculate the loyalty metrics, such as churn rate. So we didn't get enough data about churn rate, so we cannot make a decision about in which country we can invest more. We make a decision based on CPA and ROAS, but it doesn't reflect the profitability of the business. That is the case. And the problem is that business always waits the solution from the advertising platform, which never happens. And the reason they failed, when they enter the competitive market, I actually helped them fail fast, understanding they are failing. So they didn't invest more time and effort by waiting that, yeah, we are failing. And they entered to development period. For example, startup entered to 3 or 4 months development period to create additional value to the customers in order to differentiate their brands. That's why I mentioned the value proposition and positioning, because positioning is very important when entering the market. If you duplicate all the functions or all the functionalities of your competitor, what differentiates you from that competitor? That's why you think that you will invest and you will gain. But it takes a lot of time to position yourself in the market and create a brand loyalty. It really depends on marketing sides, the brand awareness side. So we couldn't be like these brands because these are well-known brands. Even you have a market penetration and market share, you cannot compete with the well-established brand in the market. So the takeaways from the wave strategy. Actually, a business must have user retention strategy because lots of users come to your website and you have to leverage some automations, email marketing, and cross-sell, upsell methods to sell additional things to that customers and increase your market penetration. And strong brand strategy is here required. What differentiates you from other competitors in the market? What value you give to the market? So business must be on profit rather than revenue. That some kind of can solve the problem that they are not using CRM, they are not calculating the churn rate. But if they use value-based bidding by profit rather than revenue, this kind of solve the problem. I will explain how. Never forget to break-even ROAS, because break-even ROAS define actually when you have to stop invest to that market, because sometimes the market reach the break-even point. So according to diminishing returns law, always we know that when we increase cost, it doesn't mean that our revenue will increase at the same level. So when we missed the ROAS target, so we actually missed a lot of profit, so we just waste a lot of money in the advertising platform. It also depends on the advertising platform. For example, in my country, the Google Ads has a lot of reach, so it can get a lot of conversion from search campaigns. But when it comes to Facebook ads, it's break-even point even in the early stages. You cannot invest, for example, more than 20,000 in a month. More than it's just failed. So we have to consider profit on ad spend, which is a new concept. We just replicate the revenue in the system. It means that there are some products which has different profit margins, and actually the advertising platform is not aware of that. So we can integrate e-commerce platforms like Magenta, WooCommerce by using this tool. I am not affiliate, but I just found this tool to integrate this profit. So we can dynamically send this profit to the system as a revenue, as a conversion value. So later on, we just use ROAS, but actually it is POAS. It is profit on ad spend. So we actually set our ROAS target based on our profit. It is more useful, and it is more, we can make a great decisions based on these metrics. This sent data also to GA4 and Facebook and Google Ads. So we can see here which segments are more profitable for our advertising. This is really good insights for us. If we don't use like big CRM systems, etc., it's kind of more affordable options for us. So here is the summary of my presentation. And we always should think about the brand strategy. When I work with the clients, I always asked, do you have a good marketing strategy? Or not good, but do you have a marketing strategy? Do you know what differentiates your brand from the customers? That is the points we use in our advertising when analyzing or we're getting the insight from the digital analytics data. I do SEO, digital analytics, etc., like a full stack digital marketing for clients. But it's important to understand why it is failed. Okay. I actually will summarize it from here. As a digital analyst or digital marketer, we should have growth strategy, how to begin or how to enter to the market, which channels we can use, which channels are more profitable for the business, and we should have a measurement plan, how to analyze the churn rate, how to analyze later on the profitability of some segments. We should integrate some tools like Hotjar, etc., which are non-input based analytics, so you just see the user experience of your users. If you see that users behave differently in your website, you see that you actually doesn't create any additional value. That's why users are not willing to pay for your service. So in the second run, you actually scale by using your first-party data, because now you have a data to use and retarget the users. You can even don't have a data, you can use micro-conversions to feed the system, which are target people who are have more probability to buy your product. So you cut the cost or advertising investment from the less profitable segments and invest more to that countries or etc. For example, in my example, the Gulf region has lower conversion rate, but the CPA is more profitable in that country. So it doesn't mean that sometimes product doesn't fit the market so much, but it is more, when it comparing the buying power, it is more profitable to enter these markets. For example, US market is very high, but Canadian, for example, didn't buy our product, and we spend a lot of money to reach a lot of people. So CPM was very high in some countries. That's why we decide to enter with lower segment, and it gives a lot of data, and also it's we get a lot of insights what people think about our products, what are the feedbacks. And based on that, startups can actually increase the efficiency of their solutions, then enter the big markets, because the big markets is different. So invest more on a most profitable product for ads and finding channels like Microsoft Ads. We also use Microsoft Ads because for some segments, especially the corporate segments, Microsoft Ads is more useful because it has some ability to reach people based on their job title, etc. As Microsoft has LinkedIn, that's why they integrate and have more data points than Google Ads. Actually, this system was the same. I'm a Google partner, but I promote the Microsoft because we can easily integrate Microsoft to Google, Google to Microsoft. There is an import, and you just import, click import, and in 30 minutes, all the campaigns you have in the Microsoft. So Microsoft welcome you with lower CPA, but it's later on increase the CPA. I don't know if it is a strategy or not, but you should consider that when entering the new marketing channel. Yeah, a little bit maybe fast because I try to handle in the 20 minutes. Yeah, if you have questions or want to connect, thank you very much.
Now, Fred, I'm sorry, your quota is like way exceeded.
I didn't use it much in the early part of the week.
Okay, fair. Thank you, Kamal.
Thank
Let's
you.
go with the questions.
Kamal, thank you. Every time I think I understand search and I have a good understanding of it, I realize, holy shit, I just know a tiny bit of it. So your knowledge is really impressive. One thing I really like about Bing ads is that you can get the search query. They'll actually give that to you, which Google won't these days. So that's one good reason for the Bing ads. But so talk a little bit again about the profit metrics. How does that integration work?
It actually get the profit data from your WooCommerce and some Magento. I didn't actually implement it. I learned later on that some businesses failed, and I do a research about how can I handle when they don't use churn rate, CRM tools, etc. Then I found this product. Actually, they use API. It's a more automatic way, feasible way to integrate your data. They get dynamically from API with Magento and WooCommerce. In these platforms, you actually have the data, what is your shipping cost, tax, etc. You have the profit margin. That's why they calculate the profit margin for each product individually. As from the data layer, we have which products were sold, and we get dynamically that product's profit rather than the revenue.
Okay, very cool. Yeah. Thank you.
I think I saw someone on the left. It was behind me, so I didn't see it. Monica, you'll be next.
Thanks. I wrote my question down. Regarding feeding Google Ads dynamic conversion values for modeling, so correlating profit to micro conversions. Do you have standard methods of assigning conversion values, as well as managing those values?
For micro conversions?
Right. So these are conversions you're feeding to Google Ads.
Sometimes.
Right. So you're assigning them value, I assume.
Yeah, for B2B businesses,
checkout,
which has the fixed amount of conversion value, fixed conversion value. For example, you sell a consultancy for 150, for example. You just set a free ebook download or newspaper sign up action. You give the value for this action. So you optimize based on this conversion value. But firstly, you need to have some data in order to find the correlation between your newspaper sign up, for example, and your consultancy purchase. You just find the correlation or ratio, then you define the value for the sign up. For example, $10 or $20 or $5. It changed. You just here, not the value-based bidding is profitable here, in my opinion. You just send the micro conversions which feed the system, and system have the ability to find the users who have more probability to buy your consultancy service. For example, the user who signed your email or opened a link from your email, which can be a new service brochure maybe, and you just grab this conversion as a in the upper funnel. That's why system have the ability to target these users more, which have more probability to buy your product or service.
So you're saying it's partial value to
the
absolutely. Actual value that you're driving them towards.
You have to also set the ROAS target differently.
A way of managing that over time as that changes.
Yeah,
because behavior changes. I was just wondering if you had any sort of standard methods of
not standard actually.
Or managing it. It's something that we do.
Not standard actually. You have to dynamically analyze your data and then make a decision. But most times your consultancy service cost doesn't vary a lot during a year. No, it's not for e-commerce. You don't give any value for micro conversions in e-commerce because every product has different margins and different revenues. That's why you just give the micro conversion add to cart.
We do find that it's extremely successful.
Interesting.
Because we're feeding it data to push it in a direction.
Actually, you can give the portion of the revenue when product added to cart. It's also the case.
Sure.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's, by all means, guys, fight over a beer. I think you're fighting over the same thing, I think. Monica.
Thank you. So a little bit to follow up on that question, maybe we can actually talk a little bit more about this in later session with ranting about analytics. But my question is that do you actually feed profit information in Google? I mean, I'm a little bit hesitant because it's sensitive information, and we know that businesses that started on Amazon, for example, then Amazon did their own thing and actually took the data that they had on other like businesses selling on the platform and used it to generate profit for themselves. So I'm just worried if we feed that information to Google, that same thing can happen. So do you index that information, or do you actually give them the profit values?
You mean that integrating the third-party websites with your analytics or with your ad platform, like Amazon or?
I mean, just giving the profit information to Google, how much profit you make on each product.
As I mentioned, we can only use our integrations, our own websites data in the backend of WooCommerce or with API, but they actually didn't support from Google Sheet, as I know, as I asked and have had a call with them. I personally couldn't use this profit information because somehow sometimes they don't want to share. They don't want to share the integrations or API with you. It's somehow confidential. There are some ways to do it. For example, sending the profit margin or profit information in the data layer, but dividing by, for example, a number as hidden number. It's also the method, but we couldn't try it because the confidentiality issues. That's why.
Thank you.
Good. And I think I have one last one before we move over to Thomas. Do people actually use Google Tag where you're from also?
Yeah, we use Google Tag Manager a lot.
Yeah, so they use GTM, right? They don't really actually use the Google Tag.
Google Tag for only applications, SDKs, etc.
Okay. Makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Kamal. That was
Thank you very
informative.
much.